In today's video, we'll be talking about ABBA's nomination for the 65th Grammy Awards and their high chance of taking it home. Here's everything about whether ABBA will take home a Grammy. The fact that there weren't as many shocks as usual in the 2023 Grammy nominees, which were unveiled early on Tuesday, was the greatest surprise. If you recall the controversy around The Weeknd receiving 0 nominations 2 years ago, at a time when he was anticipated to be a dominant force, that's a good thing. Or maybe it's a letdown if you anticipate years like this one when Jon Batiste comes in and rules everything after hardly being a footnote in the forecasting before his arrival. Almost everybody's bingo cards this year had Adele, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, Harry Styles, Brandi Carlile, and Lizzo, and they weren't mistaken. Nevertheless, there were still enough high exclusions or pop-ups to inspire either joy or, as is common with the Grammys, justifiable rage. But one nomination certainly made a lot of 80s pop lovers really happy. Before we continue, do be sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. Recently, the candidates for the 65th Grammy Awards were announced, and 2 Eurovision winners were among them. The victors of the Eurovision Song Contest in 1974 is Sweden's ABBA, and in 2021, Italy's Måneskin are up for many Grammy Award nominations. Not bad for a band that was created back in 1972. ABBA's comeback song Don't Shut Me Down is nominated for Record of the Year, and their 9th studio album Voyage is nominated for Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album. The Swedish group's 50 years in the industry do, however, mean they aren't competing against fellow Eurovision winners Måneskin, who are up for Best New Artist. Instead, ABBA won a 4th nomination this year for Don't Shut Me Down in the category of Best Pop Duo Group Performance. When a partially reunited ABBA received their first ever Grammy nomination for Record of the Year for I Still Have Faith in You last year, it seemed to be an accident. The quartet, however, won nominations for Best Album Voyage, Song of the Year Don't Shut Me Down, and Best New Artist this year, some 52 years after they were created. Okay, that last one was a joke. There are a few theories as to why this might be the case, but the most likely one is that ABBA's music has always had high standards for songwriting, production, and performance that the expert screening committee, not to be confused with the nominating committees, which were abolished last year, compared them to the other potential nominees and concluded that yes, ABBA really are that good. Another less closely related factor is what we'll refer to as the Living Lifetime Achievement Award. See Bonnie Raitt from around 1990 or Steely Dan from around 2000, where Academy voters come together in support of a legendary but underappreciated veteran artist's most recent album and appear to be saying it's time. Constracta, a contestant in Eurovision 2022, stated in October of this year that she was up for 2 Grammy Awards this year, but alas, none of them would go to her for her performance of In Corpore Sano in the categories of Best New Artist or Best Global Music Performance. Similar to how few people would consider Mary J. Blige's most recent single Good Morning Beautiful to be among her finest works, despite the fact that it has received 31 nominations and 9 Grammy Awards, but it seems that hearing her distinctive voice moved enough people to give her 6 nominations. ABBA was once a much beloved band in all of Europe. In fact, it was among the biggest bands in the world, and even if they've returned after such a long time, their fans still seem to be just as stoked about them. It's a pretty big deal for a band to return after decades and be nominated for the Grammys, so there's no doubt that these champions have a chance of taking the Grammy home. Constracta, who represented Serbia at Eurovision 2022, just as close she was nominated for a Grammy Award in 2 categories, including Best New Artist and Best World Music Performance for her performance of In Corpore Sano. Other than these artists, there have been many other artists who are not quite happy about the nominations. Brian, a relative newbie who has since become a success, recently made headlines when he took to Twitter to criticize the CMA Awards for failing to even nominate him, much alone give him a victory. Brian was widely regarded as the country music genre's breakthrough star for 2022. The erratic performer, who rose to fame by bypassing conventional avenues, said that he was relieved not to have been given consideration for the CMAs and that he would never again want to be a part of the ceremony or event. However, he said that the Grammys were a whole different matter when asked whether he had the same sentiments about them, and he appeared destined for it. In a field of 10, the odds of his not being nominated for Best New Artist seemed to be close to zero. He received his lone nomination for Best Country Performance for Something in the Air, yet he somehow fell short there. The devotion of the throngs of people who yell along to every song on the tour each night may be all he needs to stay warm. One of the largest events in the world of music is the Grammy Awards, and just getting a nomination is the stuff of dreams for any musician. On February 5th, the 65th Grammy Awards will be held in Los Angeles, California. Well, that about does it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time.